Something is adapting in space. Something is shifting in our technology, and 3 planets will line up in the sky for anyone paying attention, and that's just the beginning. This is Sunny from Muse Media, and this is the Daily Dozen. 12 developments from around the world worthy of your information-hungry, eclectic attention. Let's begin. Wow, well, way up there on the International Space Station, something is learning to adapt, and it's not our astronauts. It's bacteria. Over more than 20 years, microbes carried aboard by crews and cargo have been living in microgravity, exposed to higher radiation and confined air systems. In one study, researchers examined strains of Enterobacter buginensis, already known for antibiotic resistance. But aboard the ISS, these strains have showed genetic adaptations not seen on Earth, including traits that help them survive stress and even support other microbes in the same environment and persist over time. I had to raise an eyebrow and kick back a second on this one. Does this mean that it could be mutating into something more deadly to living creatures? We down here on Earth are clueless, but they are becoming something else, more resilient. They're better at surviving harsh conditions and potentially harder to eliminate in a closed environment. It's not quite the Andromeda strain. Well, not yet. Let's hope ISS doesn't crash into the planet anytime soon, but it's close enough to make you pause before touching anything labeled surface sample. Because if life adapts this efficiently in orbit, what happens when we go just a little bit farther? And while scientists are watching what evolves in space, down here there's a growing concern about something else evolving. A major legal shift may be underway. A New Mexico jury has found Meta liable for failing to protect children on its platforms, including exposure to harmful content and exploitive risks. The case focused not just on what users post, but how the platform itself operates, what it recommends, what it amplifies, and what it allows to persist. The ruling includes a $375 million penalty, but that money won't go to victims. It will be paid to the state as part of a civil enforcement action. The company does plan to appeal, but the question is now on the table. Not just what platforms host, but what they are responsible for. And while we debate what's happening on our screens, the sky, as usual, has its own plans. Set your alarms, because on the morning of March 28th, 3 planets will appear to line up across the eastern sky. We've got Venus, we've got Saturn, and Mars, separated by millions of miles, yet appearing from our vantage point to move in quiet formation. This alignment follows the ecliptic, the path planets trace across our sky. Venus will shine brightest, Saturn will glow with a steady golden tone, and Mars will add its faint red contrast, a reminder that sometimes the universe aligns not for long, but just long enough to be noticed. And while we're looking up, Mars may be holding on to something unexpected. Mars may not just be red, it may be hiding something far more complex. Data from NASA's Perseverance rover has revealed crystal formations that may include corundum, the same mineral family that forms rubies and sapphires. Gimme. These minerals typically require intense heat, pressure, and in some cases, water interaction, which suggests Mars once had more dynamic geological conditions than we fully understood. Not gemstones necessarily waiting to be mined, although that is kind of exciting, but evidence that the red planet may have had a more active past. And while Mars may hold clues above us, something just as unusual is happening far below. In the deep ocean, far beyond sunlight, oxygen is being created, not through photosynthesis, but through chemical reactions along the seafloor. Researchers are studying areas where minerals interact with the seawater, producing oxygen in complete darkness, a process some are calling dark oxygen. If confirmed at scale, it could reshape how we understand life in extreme environments, not just here on Earth, but anywhere conditions seem impossible. And while some things are hidden beneath the ocean, others have been waiting just below the surface. Some discoveries happen once, others happen again. A diver in the Mediterranean has recovered another Crusader-era sword from the same region where one was found years earlier. Dating back nearly 900 years, these weapons are remnants of a time when this coastal line was a crossroads of conflict. Experts believe the area may contain multiple artifacts, possibly from shipwrecks or lost passages beneath the sea, a reminder that history doesn't disappear, sometimes it just settles. And not all survival stories are buried in the past. Across the Skies movement is underway. Radar tracking recently recorded 130 million birds migrating in a single night across the Great Lakes and eastern United States. They're driven by shifting winds and seasonal change. These migrations happen almost invisibly unless you know where to look, and among them, crows, often seen as omens in folklore, but in reality, highly intelligent, social, and capable of recognizing faces and sharing information. Not a warning, just a system, moving at a scale we rarely notice. I think crows get a bum rap. And while some creatures move together in the sky, others follow very different rules. In the ocean, survival takes unusual forms in some octopus species. Mating is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of the end. Oh, I'm so sorry to tell you, fellas. Females may consume the male. A behavior that provides nutrients needed for reproduction. Afterward, the female will guard her eggs without eating until her life cycle ends. Oh, strange, but efficient. Nature doesn't always choose comfort. It chooses continuation. And sometimes what nature reveals isn't about survival, but about change. Along the shores of Lake Superior, something is being uncovered. Erosion near a historic cemetery in Minnesota has exposed human remains along the shoreline. Engineers estimate it could cost $2.5 million to stabilize the area as storms, water levels, and shifting land continue to reshape the coast. It's not a mystery, but it does remind us that even the ground beneath us is not as permanent as it seems. And while the earth shifts beneath our feet, something else is happening quietly within us. Inside the human body, communication is constant. Cells exchange information through chemical signals, electrical impulses, and mechanical feedback. But researchers are also studying something more subtle. In laboratory settings, cells have been observed emitting faint light, known as biophotons. Their role isn't fully understood, but they may be linked to cellular activity and coordination. The systems within us are more complex than we've yet mapped. And while signals move within us, others are streaking across the sky. Something has been lighting up the sky over Ohio again. A third fireball in just over a week was seen across multiple states just before dawn. These events occur when small space debris burns up in Earth's atmosphere, sometimes releasing energy equal to several tons of TNT. No impact, no sonic boom with this one, just a flash across the morning sky. Enough to make people look up and wonder. I'll tell you, it makes me wonder about War of the Worlds. And sometimes what changes around us isn't fast at all. Something new is moving north. They call it the Joro spider. It's native to East Asia, and it's been steadily expanding across the United States. There is a photo provided for your viewing experience with webs that can span several feet and bodies large enough to notice. They've now been spotted as far north as Ohio. Researchers say they could continue into regions like Michigan. Despite their size, they're not dangerous to humans. but their presence may shift local ecosystems over time. It's not an invasion overnight, but it is a quiet expansion, the kind that reminds us change doesn't always arrive suddenly. Sometimes it just simply arrives. And by the way, they're as big as a human palm. Remember to subscribe, follow the signals, question the noise, and I'll see you on the night side.